Let us open this presentation with Panganjali. Om Swastiastu. We are from SGD B1 of PSS-KPD 2020 first semester. Thank you very much for the opportunity that has been given to us to present our student project entitled The Benefit of Small Group Discussion in Medical Students. Without further ado, I welcome Williem to start the presentation.
My name is Williem Alexander, and I would like to explain about the background, objective, and benefit of small group discussion. First, its background. When a group of individuals cooperate in a small congregation, have an interaction such as having a small talk or discussing about a certain topic in the same place at the same time, it creates a much more enjoyable environment as they have an opportunity to come out with their own idea. Nowadays, there is an ongoing trend where a single class fits more than 100 students. Usually happens in so many Indonesian universities. This will certainly create a problem for medical students as they have little chance of developing their soft skill and social skill which they are required to have. Next is the objective. The objective of this small group discussion for medical students is to make students able to develop their soft skills such as communication, self-esteem, while also sparking of student engagement and critical thinking skill. Moreover, small group discussion will develop students' social skill by teaching them how to work communally that will be really useful in the future. Next is benefit. The benefit for medical students by implementing small group discussion is that students have a better and more amusing environment where they can engage more with the lesson and topic they're in, and also express their thought and opinion freely, solving their problem together as a group. The limited amount of people inside the group also makes it possible for the presenter to take care and pay attention to the group members that need assistance. Next.
My name is Dewa Fony Prema Shanti, and I would like to explain problem formulation and definition of small group discussion. The problem formulation of this project are first, what is a small group discussion? Second, how is the implementation of small group discussion in medical education? Third, what are the principles to hold an effective group discussion? Fourth, how is a small group discussion in comparison to a bigger group discussion? Fifth, what are the benefits of small group discussion? Sixth, why are small group discussion important to be implemented in education? Next. According to UCLTE 2020, small group discussion means the process of interaction between two or more individuals who interact face-to-face with a specific goal or target through exchange information, defend opinions, or solve the problems. In general, there are two types of small group, and they are text-oriented group and relational-oriented group. Text-oriented focus on the output. Relational-oriented focus on interpersonal connection. However, most group discussion are including one of them, so it's better to think of this orientation as two ends of continuum rather than as mutually exclusive. Next.
Thank you for the time given to me. My name is Karina Nityani Kumar, and I'm going to be explaining what medical education is. Medical education is education related to the practice of being a medical practitioner, either the initial training to become a physician or additional training thereafter. Medical education consists of basic medical education, postgraduate medical education, and continuing professional development. The goal of medical education is to prepare physicians to apply the latest scientific knowledge to promote health, prevent and cure human disease, and mitigate symptoms. The medical curriculum should equip the students with a broad base of general medical knowledge. Next. Medical school's responsibilities are to ensure students have acquired the basic understanding and skill of clinical medicine and exhibit the character to be an ethical physician, and to provide the environment suitable for learning and inquiry, including an active institutional research program.
My name is Putu Krisnadewi Rahadi, and I'd like to present about implementation of small group discussion in medical education. Student-centered learning is carried out through small group discussion. It begins by dividing all students into several small groups consisting of about 12 people, accompanied by one facilitator. During the SGD, students will discuss for approximately 1 hour to solve problems about the lecture material. Each group will discuss about learning tasks that are related to the lecture material on that day. Learning tasks are usually in the form of a case with several questions. Next. Every student must be able to actively participate in the discussion. Students' participation in SGD will be assessed by the facilitator, and the score will affect the student's final score on the block. Facilitator is not being a subject matter expert on the content. Otherwise, the facilitator plays a role in directing the discussion if out of track and stimulates the students to achieve learning goals. After SGD, there will be a plenary session where SGD will be given the opportunity to present the results of their discussion. It is hoped that with the SGD learning system, students will be more motivated to find material, read more, and understand the material more broadly. Next.
My name is Cahaya Dewi, and I will explain the principle of small group discussion. To conduct an optimal small group discussion, there are 5 principles that must be obeyed. They are leadership, confidence, social bond, understanding, and improvement. First is leadership. Good leadership in a small group discussion could foster all the individual creativity, communication, and also their knowledge. Next is confidence. A discussion cannot be done if all the members of the group can't express their opinion. Therefore, this small group discussion could make all the members help each other because they are in the same situation. Next is social bond. Introduction from each member of the small group discussion could lead to a great bond of relation that also can provide a comfortable environment for all members. Next is understanding. This discussion also expected to form critical thinking in each member so that they could search for more information about the issues that have been discussed. And the last one is improvement. Through small group discussion, all members were hoped to improve and be better people in the future. This improvement was expected to be seen in terms of relationship, knowledge, and communication skills, which are based on high self-confidence.
My name is Putu Amritha Dewi, and I'd like to explain the comparison between small group discussion and large group discussion. In general, medical college adopt lectures as the major teaching strategy, but discussion can be one of the choices of teaching strategy. Discussion has numerous benefits such as developing critical thinking, deep learning, and makes students to elaborate, defend, and extend their arguments. There are 2 types of discussion. There are small group discussion and large group discussion. Next. Based on the research conducted by Jawat and Abosnan, many students think that small group discussion is more conducive to critical thinking learning than large group discussion and drive more equal discussion participation for students from different thoughts. Thus, it can be an option to enrich a lecture-based class to increase student satisfaction in an active learning. Meanwhile, based on the research conducted by Barbaro, many students think participation in large group discussion plays less role and find that it's not an appropriate place to express thoughts and to get along with other students. But it's slightly better in encouraging the students to rethink or be open-minded because many opinions are present. Overall, students agree that small group discussion generates higher benefits than large group discussions. Next.
My name is Sendi Aprilio, and I'm here to tell you about social behavior benefits from small group discussion. So, small group discussion systems are one of active learning method where the bigger group are divided into a smaller group. In this group, there are discussion or conversation that take place about anything, including scientific conversation. Secondly, the group contains several learners with different characteristics and mindsets, where the difference are push them to do an exchange opinion for the result to solving problems together. What happens in this group discussion requires each learner to be able to find alternative ways, also stimulate them to think systematically, critically, and creatively. Next. Learning in the small group discussion, focusing more on cooperation and collaborative patterns. Each learner should feel equal, so that no students feel that they are the smartest or masters and the others are the weaker or less knowledgeable. The social behavior benefits of small group discussion is reflected in the core of the learning itself because all students are required to be active. Students are trained to respect others' opinion and collaborate with them. SGD develops social attitudes in communicating with others. SGD is a comprehensive tool for achieving academic productivity where students can get a lot of social benefits such as being more confident, active, courageous, and critical. Most important, these methods are giving social behavior benefits such as encourage interaction and growing self-confidence because these methods encourage its learner to become leader or guide of the discussion, also growing self-confidence to express their opinions.
My name is Sadam Wibawa. I would like to explain the benefit of small group discussion in medical students, especially encourage interaction and growing confidence. Number 1, encourage interaction. With a small group discussion, medical students can gradually develop interpersonal skill that they will use in the future as capable and well-communicated doctor. Interpersonal skills are one of the abilities possessed by medical students where they must be reliable by other, one of which is to be a listener and respect the opinions of other. Also besides, small group discussion can also improve student communication skill, clarify points that are felt to be left out from the lecture, and can encourage interaction between medical students so that they can get to know their classmates more closely. Next. Number two, growing confidence. In a small group discussion, medical students can increase and growing their self-confidence by courteously expressing their opinions. This encourages students to continue to actively equip themselves by seeking out knowledge and information related to learning so that medical students have a broader insight and understanding in expressing opinions. Next.
My name is Mira Amba Wrycza, and I'm going to explain about the cognitive benefits. But first, what does cognition mean? Cognition refers to the mental process where an individual gains knowledge and comprehension. It happens when we learn and includes reasoning, knowing, recollecting, judging, and solving problems. Next. So how exactly is the cognitive side triggered in small group discussions? Well, as we know, a small group discussion is a form of collaborative learning where a group of students come together to explore a course material. And of course, when a group of students come together, there's going to be arguments and explanations, which in turn evokes elaboration by making the students connect new information and recall prior knowledge that they already have in their brain. And this brings them to have a deeper level of information processing. So in short, providing explanations during small group discussions fosters elaboration, which in turn stimulates our brain to go through a deeper level of information processing, and that is what activates the cognitive benefit. So besides that, our group has also characterized two main benefits of the cognitive side of small group discussions, which are better understanding and better room for improvement. Next.
My name is Gede Samudra, and I will explain to you about the specifications of small group discussions cognitive benefits. The first one is better understanding. It means the student comprehension can improve after attending small group discussion session. You can see it from problem learning model created by Instructional Design Australia. One, develop problem to ensure the material supports the learning purpose. Two, activate existing knowledge from the lecture and turn it into prep learning. Three, identify required knowledge to the students about what they have to know. Four, research can be done by experimenting, browsing, etc. Five, critically analyze intended for assessing the validity and reliability of an information or source through literature review, test report, or other means. Six, reflect and compare the initial ideas or beliefs to a new one, which reflect on growth in students' understanding and skills. Seven, share solution used for interpret students' solution through presentation, written thesis, and so on. Eight, assess in order to evaluate learners' comprehension and skills by using multifaceted assessment strategies. Next, this is an example of better understanding in a small group discussion through conversation. Next, here is the second one. It's better room for students' improvement divided into three aspects. First is critical thinking. How to be a critical thinker? One, formulate the questions into keywords. Two, gather the information and write it down on your book. Three, apply the information to enrich your writing in detail. Four, consider the implications by analyze the cause and effect terms. Five, explore more points of view from journal, textbooks, articles, etc. Next. Second is problem solving. Problem solving strategies requires us to do the 6 methods such as root cause analysis, mean sense, backwards brainstorming, algorithm, trial and error, self-explain, and visual imagery. Next. Third is teamwork. Please watch this video. Next. If you relate the video to the small group discussion, the queen ant symbolizes the facilitator and facilitator. The 9 worker ants represent a series member. A cloud of ants illustrates great teamwork, and armadillo is the problem. In summary, by collaborating these components, A small group discussion could form a great symbol to solve any problem. That's all from me. Thank you. Next.
My name is Winnie Chandra, and I'm going to explain about significance of small group discussion. As medical students, we need to find the most effective learning strategies so that we can study effectively and we will understand the learning material faster without wasting time. Besides lecture, one of the examples is by small group teaching. By small group discussions, we will get communication skills, critical thinking, self-confidence, and become familiar with student-centered learning, which is needed and very important for medical education. Next. Being a doctor is not only meeting patients, diagnosing some diseases, and giving prescriptions. All that matters are the way you can communicate with your patients and discussing problems with your colleagues in a good way. Being a doctor also requires patience and team working skills. All of this can be developed through a small group discussions that we have applied since we are in college. The impacts left by small group discussion is far greater than other learning methods because small group discussions is more focused, interactive, and leads to the development of principles. If small group discussions are not being implemented, it will be hard for us to adapt in the future. Next.
My name is Darren Junior, and I am here to conclude our presentation. Through small group discussion, medical students could gain a lot of benefits which are essential for their medical career, such as communication skill and social benefit, where students are able to listen and respect others' opinion and also able to convey their own thoughts effectively, efficiently, and confidently. As for cognitive benefit, medical students could reinforce their prior knowledge by sharing it with others and develop a profound understanding about the subject being discussed by engaging in small group discussion. Small group discussion also provides additional benefit, which is making medical students grow accustomed to adult learning approach, which will be very useful, especially for medical students who are deemed as lifelong learners. Next. So from the various skills and benefits medical students could gain from small group discussion, we could conclude that small group discussion indeed plays an important role in shaping medical students to be professional doctors in the future. As you can see, here are some of the references that we used. Next. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. We apologize if we made any mistakes intentionally or unintentionally. This is the end of our presentation, and I will close it with Parama Santi. Om Santi 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 Om.